It's the Channel Mom Show with Jenny Dean Schmidt. We're here for you.
The new year is going to look beautiful on you. How about an age-defying facial with the new antioxidant serum from Lemongrass Spa, where you can have the spa treatment without the spa price tag. Just shop lemongrassspa.com.
Hey, welcome back to the Channel Mom Show.
I didn't know that was your song there.
No, I have it in the background, and I want Josh to keep it going. I actually meant to tell him to come in a minute, and I forgot to do that. Do you know what this song is?
Yes. Stray Cats? Who is it?
No, it's Adam Ant.
Adam Ant, that's right.
Who actually met in an elevator once in Great Britain when I was at the BBC, when I was working for the BBC as an intern.
Was he wearing makeup at
There
the
was
time?
a whole bunch of name dropping there, wasn't it? Anyway, I want to say something. I played this for Dr. Leman. We are back with Dr. Kevin Leman, who is a well-known author and speaker. He's written a bunch of books. You've probably seen him on television because he's been interviewed by everybody from Oprah to the Today Show to Good Morning America. Some of his more famous books are Sheet Music, the Birth Order book, and Have a New Kid by Friday, which we're going to focus on today. We have What a Difference a Mom Makes, a great book for moms with sons in particular, and Have a New Kid by Friday. We're giving those away today, 303-297-1510. Please call to win a book, 303-297-1510. Don't be shy. We want to give those to you. And Dr. Kevin Leman is being very silent back there. What the song says is, don't drink, don't smoke, goody two-shoes. And so I wanted to play that in honor of Dr. Leman today. Is that what we want? Do we want goody two-shoes for kids?
I don't think so.
Okay, tell me why.
I think you want kids who are responsible. You know, I'm old enough to remember, Jenny, when kids used to obey their parents. Mm-hmm. Now parents obey their kids.
Okay, here we go. This was the question I was going to ask you. What is the number one mistake that Western parents, American and other Western cultures, are now making in child rearing? What's the number one mistake in your estimation as a psychologist?
Oh, Dr. Leman, we're so glad you're here on 1510 because we too want happy, happy, happy children. You know, the drive to make sure your kid is happy at every turn is absolutely stupid. The best line in the book, Have a New Kid by Friday, is this. An unhappy child is a healthy child. And there's times your son or daughter has to be unhappy. You have to slip them a little vitamin N, which is no, and lots of vitamin E, which is encouragement. And I'm just saying, this isn't rocket science, folks. And by the way, all the books, the Have a New Kid by Friday, Have a New Husband by Friday, which is an absolute hoot, where I say, think of your husband as a 4-year-old that shaves, and Have a New Teenager by Friday, Have a New You by Friday. Every one of those Friday books are scams, because you don't have to wait till Friday. You could have a new husband by Wednesday. You could have a new teenager by Wednesday. You could have a new kid by Wednesday. It doesn't really take 5 days.
No, it's an attitudinal thing, and I get that. Oh, you know what? My husband is texting me with questions, just so you know. I really have known him since I was 4. So
you know, your husband and I ought to really have lunch. I was just up in the Springs. I should have gone a little further north and met with him.
And he's a high school principal, so he could glean a lot from you, I'm sure of it.
Oh, yeah.
He's saying, questions for your guests. How do you assist teens in being more outward focused? Let me go to the next one. But I want to get to that. So remember that my husband asked you that question because that's got to be the most important question of the day, I'm sure. Look, doctor, I sit here humbly before you to say that I make these mistakes too. I take my kids to church. You know, I teach them Christian principles. They've grown up in Sunday school. My husband and I work very hard to discipline them. In fact, we're super strict. My son doesn't even get to have a phone or a Facebook at age 14 because we're strict. But I'll tell you what, last night we were going down to go bowling, and my son did something that was a little unruly in front of his kid, you know, his friend, to make him laugh. And I said, well, I'm going to turn this car around if you do it. And I did exactly what you said not to do. I threatened to turn the car around, and then I didn't turn the car around. And it was because I wanted to make my son happy.
Yeah, plus it's difficult. Let's face it, sometimes what we do is we engage our mouth before we think it all through. I'm one that says, you know, let's say your 14-year-old plays on an athletic team, and it's a Saturday morning like this morning, and he badmouths you and he says something very disrespectful. Mm-hmm. And let's just say that he's the starting point guard on the basketball team. Mm-hmm. You know, without saying a word, I would wait till that 4 o'clock when he says, come on, Mom, we got to go. I'm going to be late. Coach will get really mad if I'm not on time. And that's when I pull the rug up from a little buzzard and I say, honey, the car isn't going anywhere, and neither are you.
Yeah.
Now, you're going to have a knockdown drag-out at that point. But and he's going to say, what is wrong with you? And you have a great opportunity. Now, this is 8 hours after the fact, by the way, to say, honey, well, I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you what's wrong with me. I'm still having a problem with a conversation we had this morning when you started getting mouthy with me. And I've already emailed the coach to tell him you won't be there.
Yeah. That would kill my son because he is an athlete.
Reference what a difference a mom makes. If you want to make an indelible imprint on your son's life as a mom, I have a chapter in that little book called Preparing Your Toddler's Wedding. And I say to mommies, hey, Mom, you represent all womanhood to this little guy.
Yeah.
Don't let him walk over you ever.
Yeah. Yeah, because then he won't be a good husband.
That's right.
You're into not reacting.
Why would you react? You know, if the doctor says to you, Jenny, you had a reaction to this medication, that's not good. But if he said, Jenny, you responded to this medication, you know, there's a good example. You want to respond rather than react. So when a powerful kid throws a temper tantrum at a mall, you step over the little sucker.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a temptation to step on the little buzzard, okay? But if you walk away, guess what he does? He comes after you. Well, St. Paul, and he said, you know, essentially, hey, parents, be an authority over your kids, but don't be an authoritarian, and don't be a permissive. And today we have tons of permissive parents. Brittany, it's 8 p.m. Have you chosen to go to bed yet? And my all-time favorite, would you kids turn that TV down? I'm trying to do your homework.
Okay, well, listen, you have three kinds of parents, because I have read have a new teenager by Friday because I need it. Not that my son isn't fabulous. He's a great kid, but he's got issues like all teenagers. You say there are authoritarian parents, permissive parents, and then your number one choice for parenting, which is authoritative. Can you describe those to people?
Yeah, the authoritarian, most of us, especially people in the church, because again, keep in mind, here's the backdrop question as I answer your question. Is God an authoritarian? Does he grab us by the scruff of the neck, twist our earlobe, and tell us what to do? No, he's not.
No.
So the authoritarian parent says, hey, I'm bigger than you are. You're going to do what I tell you to do. Hey, you want something to cry about? I'll give you something to cry about. Now, that parent knows what's best for their child. You got to keep that in mind. So on a cold winter morning in Tucson, where I live, the temperature plummets to 51 bone-chilling degrees, Mom prepares cream of wheat or oatmeal for little Buford. Why? Because it's good for him. Okay? But the scripture says, train up a child in the way he should go, which doesn't mean the way you think he should go, parent. It speaks of the individuality of each of your kids. Now, the permissive parent, you know, Ralph and I feel very strongly, Dr. Leman, that every child should get a trophy, every child should be a winner. So we've enrolled little Buford in non-competitive soccer. Give me a barf bag now. That is not good for anybody. Why people do that kind of stuff is beyond me. But Paul says, St. Paul that is, I never caught his last name, but I know he's St. Paul. He says in Ephesians 6, children, obey your parents. It's the right thing to do because God has placed them in authority over you. That's a Living Bible translation.
Yeah.
Then he goes on to talk to parents about, you know, don't make your kids angry and resentful. And so there's that balance, and that's what we need. And we lack it in parenting. We lack it in marriage.
Yes.
Women don't understand how simple that middle child husband of yours really is. I always say think of him as a 4-year-old that shaves. And, you know, most men, they just want to know they're appreciated. There's a big, huge friendship factor in there, and they need to feel wanted by you.
Yeah. You know,
if you do, he ain't going to go anyplace else but with you.
We had Dr. Emerson Egerich on a couple weeks ago. You probably know him. And he's fabulous on marriage and tells you what men need. And he's also good about saying, look, it's very simple with guys. And I appreciate his approach. By the way, we are talking to Dr. Kevin Leman, the author of Have a New Kid by Friday and numerous other books. And we're going to let Shelley chime in here in a second. Just one more quick follow-up for me, and then, Shell, you go for it. I do see this problem out in America, and I make it myself that parents want to be their kid's best friend, that they don't want to disappoint them, especially in divorce situations I've watched. And I have complete compassion for my single mom friends. I really do, because I've got a lot of them. And this is not blame or judgment, but rather that they say to me, look, my kid's already been disappointed once. I can't stand to disappoint him again. So the discipline goes out the window because they fear they're disappointing their child. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do. I could think like a woman, which is a little embarrassing to admit on the radio. In fact, I'm feeling a little crampy as we speak. But anyway, let me give you just one-liner, since you deal with so many moms, and I hope you'll use this with moms. Guilt is the propellant for most of the lousy decisions you will make as a mom.
Uh-huh.
And guilt, women are the guilt gatherers of life, and you're right. My kid's already been hurt once, and so Mama Bear wants to protect. And the word parent comes from the Latin word parentis, which means protect. I understand that. But this goes back to encouraging your kid and not letting him off the hook, because kids will work you. I say in one of my books, we have seen the enemy, and they are small, and they're unionized, and they know all your little buttons to push, and they can work those guilt buttons with ease.
Yeah, and guilt is a motivating factor. Shelley, do you have time for a quick question? And then the next segment, I want to get to my husband's question about teens, because I know a lot of moms out there struggle with teens. We are talking to Dr. Kevin Leman. I want you to know you can get a hold of him at thebirthorderguy.com. He's got a brand new book coming out, which I'm looking forward to, The Way of the Wise. And as I said, you can win his books here today, 303-297-1510. Shell, what's your question?
In our house, we have kids who do the minimum they can to get by in school, or even in doing their chores around the house. It's how much little effort can I put in order to get what I need to get out of this?
Yeah, and that's symptomatic of today's kids. But I would tell parents, don't repeat things to kids. Tell them once. Fighting's an act of cooperation. And I can almost script the morning tirade that most parents have in getting their kids up in the morning, getting them out the door, getting them to eat, getting them to dress right, get them out to the bus stop, whatever it is. I can script it for you, word for word. And it can stop on Monday morning if a parent will just stop doing what they normally do and do things differently. In other words, if getting little Fletcher out of bed in the morning is a battle, I'll tell you what I would do on Monday morning. I wouldn't wake him up. They said, what do you mean don't wake him up? Well, let me say it one more time. Don't wake him up. Well, if I don't wake him up, he'll be late for school. How soon you catch on. Yeah. But you got a great opportunity. When that kid gets up and he's mad and it's angry and it's your fault, just tell him very matter-of-factly, we're not doing this game anymore. And when he's getting dressed, call school, ask the assistant principal to call him in and talk with him about how important it is to be on time. And then here's the note you got to write. And let me help moms write the note. Dear teacher, dear principal, Fletcher has absolutely no reason to be late for school. He chose to sleep in. Feel free to do whatever you do to kids that are illegally tardy. Love, Mom.
Yeah. Consequences.
It puts the ball in their court. It ends all those games. That's why that book is a New York Times bestseller.
Yeah. Stop the games. And you do have principles. You've already been giving us some of them. I want people to get to the specific plan from you when we come back. You literally have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday thing to focus on. But you're right. It's a one-day thing if we just would make up our minds and approach it. So coming back, we're going to have more questions for Dr. Leman, especially about teenagers, because I know people struggle with their teens. How do we get over these attitudes? How do we get over our own attitudes that are affecting our teenagers? So Dr. Kevin Leman is going to be back with us. He's going to answer any questions that you might have and also tell you how to get a handle on your teenagers in just a few minutes here on the Channel Mom Show on Mile High Sports Radio.